Across the United States, a strange thing is happening. Libertarians, progressives, conservatives, and MAGA supporters are all agreeing on one thing: they are fighting the same enemy. Flock Safety has been quietly installing automated license plate reader cameras across the United States. These devices photograph passing vehicles and feed that data into a massive searchable national network. Thousands of law enforcement agencies now have access to this system. The cameras are often installed in tandem pairs, facing each other so each can cover what the other cannot see. A flock camera on a street corner is not just recording one car. It is feeding data into a web that tracks where Americans go, when they go there, and who they meet. And the expansion has been so fast that many people did not even notice it happening. According to a July 24 article in Military.com, Americans of every political stripe have found common ground on privacy. Chad Marlowe, Senior Policy Counsel at the ACLU who leads the organization National Work on Flock-like Technology, told Military.com that this national coalition of opposition is rare and refreshing. An ACLU lawyer described it as a national display of public unity on this issue that is very inspiring and refreshing. The key insight is that while all these groups have different reasons for opposing mass surveillance, they are all arriving at the same conclusion. Mass government surveillance is out of control and needs to be reined in immediately. For libertarians, the objection is straightforward. The government is intruding on private lives by collecting data about where citizens go without their consent. Every time a car passes a flock camera, that license plate is recorded, timestamped, and stored in a government-accessible database. There is no warrant, there is no probable cause, there is no way to know if your data is in that system or who has looked at it. The chilling effect is real. People change their behavior when they know they are being watched. For supporters of the MAGA movement, the concern is about the deep state. The technology represents exactly the kind of centralized surveillance infrastructure that could be used to target political opponents. If the government can track every vehicle in the country, they can identify who showed up to which rallies, which churches were visited by which politicians, and which neighborhoods are dominated by which party. The power to collect data and the power to weaponize it are not the same thing, but Flock has not given the public any guarantees about how the data will be used. Traditional conservatives see counterintuitive measures that go against their small government principles. Flock Safety has built a massive surveillance infrastructure with minimal oversight. The company does not even respond to repeated requests for comment from reporters, according to the Military.com article. That opacity is exactly what conservatives worry about. When government power expands, it rarely contracts on its own, without sunset provisions. Without independent oversight, and without transparency about what data is collected and how long it is stored, the surveillance state grows by default. For progressives, the biggest concern regarding mass surveillance is the vulnerable groups that surveillance has always targeted first. License plate reader data has been used to identify people who visit certain neighborhoods, attend certain protests, or go to certain clinics. The data can reveal medical conditions, religious affiliations, political activity, and social relationships. When that data is stored in a national database accessible to thousands of agencies, the potential for misuse is enormous. And as Chad Marlowe pointed out, progressives have seen how surveillance disproportionately affects minority communities. Centrists find it offensive that a system tracks everywhere everyone goes, even if they are not suspected of a crime. This is not targeted surveillance of a person of interest. This is universal surveillance of every single person who drives a car in America. The average citizen has no idea how many flock cameras are on the streets in their town. They have no way to opt out. They cannot cover their license plate without looking suspicious. The system is invisible until someone points it out. The Reddit comments on the original post reveal how seriously people are taking this. One commenter described an elaborate evasion strategy. Leave your phone at home because they can track its location regardless of whether it is on or put on a cap and face mask. Walk to a location, mess with the camera, walk in a different direction where there are no cameras, change clothes in a stashed location, and walk back in different clothes. You probably need something like a rock in one shoe to throw off gate tracking. Another commenter pointed out that the town they live in is getting upgraded with DAL2 deployment, which uses acoustic floor coupling with piezoelectric sensors embedded in the surface to measure footfall pressure and timing independently of visual silhouette. One commenter on the Reddit thread pointed out a fascinating irony. All this pushback against government surveillance is happening while Americans eagerly spend hundreds of dollars to purchase Meta glasses that essentially give eyes and ears coverage to Mark Zuckerberg. The distinction is between voluntary and forced surveillance. People are willing to trade their privacy for convenience when the trade is their choice, but when the government does it, it becomes a threat. That distinction may be the heart of the privacy debate in America. Repeated efforts by military. To attain comment from Flock received no responses ahead of publication. That silence is significant. A company building a national surveillance infrastructure that affects every American has very little to say about what it is doing. The cross-ideological unity on this issue is real and it is growing. Libertarians, conservatives, progressives, and centrists may disagree on almost everything. But on the question of whether mass government surveillance is out of control, they are all in agreement. The cameras keep rolling, the data keeps accumulating, and the pushback is only just beginning. If this cross-ideological fight over privacy matters to you, hit subscribe and let me know in the comments. What would you do if you knew your car was being tracked everywhere you go?